Okay, before we go into the demo and all that, can you please share with me some of the most common information that students ask you, especially at the beginning of the semester? You can even what do you call that, type in the chat box. What are the most common information students ask you at the beginning of the semester?
One question students ask me is, where is the site?
Where is the website? Where is the eLEAP
Where
site?
I gone into eLEAP, where do I find you? That's the main question they always ask. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Joe. Any other questions that students usually ask? You can type in the chat box as well. Lynn, is there any question that the student asked you at the beginning of the semester?
They will ask, is there a final exam?
Okay, about assessment, yes. Okay, what else? What else? Is that all? Nothing else?
I think it's a tricky questions. We have,
Like?
in the sense that we have classes, we miss our class long time. So we have to give
Okay. Right. One of the things they ask is, I'm now in eLEAP, where is your course? All right. So we can tell them to, you have given a name for your course. So you can tell them the name and ask them to go there. Students are reluctant to ask questions. Amariza says, one of the common questions they ask is they want to know your name. Definitely, they want to know your name. And then they want to know your contact details. Like in my case, my students want to know my contact details, my mobile number, my email address. So it's very important, and they will keep asking you, so it's very important to put this information very clearly in the eLEAP. And also, once we go back to face, another common question when the students want to come and see you in the office, they'll ask you, where is your office? Every now and then, just imagine 10 students asking you, where is your office? It can take up a lot of time and things like that. So how do you handle that? So what I'm going to share with you is not just for the pandemic, but also after the pandemic. So I'm now going to share screen and show you my eLEAP site. Yeah, so just give me a moment. As you can see, this is my eLEAP site for my course, Psychology of Language, for last semester. The previous semester when they were in first year, I've taken photograph with them. So I make it a little bit personalized so that they have this sense of belonging. Like I said, these are little things, but it can make a big difference to the students. And you can see here, I've provided my name, right? And I've given them my office number, my mobile number, and also my email address. Yeah, okay. And I've made it very clear for the groups. Group 1, it starts at this time, and group 2, it starts at this time every week. Yeah, and the communication, the classes will be via WebEx, and I provided the WebEx link here. That's the beauty about using WebEx, because you can just give one, it's the same link, but despite giving it here, every week I still repeat so that it will be even easier for students, because we have to understand the students not just attending our course, but many other courses. So we want to make it less difficult for them, make it easier for them, because we teaching itself, it's quite a strain on our eyes. For students, it's even more, because they have to listen, after that do their work also on computer. They spend a lot of time. So we want to make this learning, virtual learning, easy for them. Yeah, help them out, assist them in every way possible. Yeah, okay. So there are rules and regulations. They want to know what is your expectation, what are the rules and regulations for the course. So I've mentioned here, your class attendance is based on your completion of the task or tasks given for every week. Because during the synchronous session, some students may not be able to come online, but you have a recording provided, right? But what is very important for me is is the completion of the task. Some of them will just switch on the camera and everything, come online, but then they menghilang, they could be sleeping, whatever, all right? But what is very important is they must complete the task given for that particular session, right? And I make it very clear, that's my expectation. Those are the rules and regulations for my course. So I've also mentioned here that if they are unable to submit a particular task or assignment, they must let me know before the deadline. Before the deadline. I'm very particular about this. Once they let me know before the deadline, and then their reasons are reasonable, then I will give extension. Only for the individual or for the whole class, to be fair to the rest of them as well. But I make my expectation clear in the first frame itself, as you can see. Contact details, rules, and regulations are provided. And then here you can see I'm using a function called label. Many people do not use label, but I find label very, very useful. You can see if you click on resources, can you see this? Can you see? I'm pointing at label. So this is one function that you can use to clearly label, and you can type in the words, and then you can make it big, and then you can add color as well, so that it is highlighted. So you see, it comes up like this, right? And then you can move it anywhere you want. So these are resources. So I've created a label, resources, and I have put in the course outline, and I have included dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary link, and this is another one. Now here are the resources which are books, e-books, yeah? But normally before this, before I knew how to combine with OneDrive, I used to upload the book one by one as a resource. So I will go here. You have the choice of uploading it as a book. So you have to do one by one. So if you have like 3-4 books you want to share with students, you have to do it 3-4 times. But what I have done is linked this to OneDrive. So if you go to your OneDrive, 365, yeah, Office 365, you get these little boxes. So you click on it, right? And then you can actually go to OneDrive and create a folder. Like in my case, I have a folder for PBW, Psychology of Learning, Kahoot, Psychology of Language here, right? In here, I have various folders. So I have created a link. So when the students click on the link, it will go here and all the books are already parked here. So this makes my life easy, the students' life easy, because they don't have to download the book one by one. They can access it anytime. And they can download everything one shot here by clicking here if they want to download to their own desktop or to their own thumb drive. And from time to time, you can add, just drag and drop from your thumb drive or from your downloads. You can just add and drop and inform the students, I've updated the resources. Please take a look at the new resources updated. So you can see that this makes life very easy because I'm combining eLEAP with OneDrive, and OneDrive is again given for free, diberikan percuma kepada kita, and capacity-nya besar. So kita boleh gunakan OneDrive tanpa risau tentang, oh saya akan habis kuota saya dan sebagainya. Tak perlu risau. Ianya besar, ya. So I talked about label, how you can use label, make it clear. Please understand, students are tired, their eyes are tired. So we try to help them in every way possible, right? So that's the first one, yeah? Making information and your expectation, common information, expectations easily available for students in the first frame, and the course outline and all available here, right? Now, moving on, the next thing that I would like to share with you is students often, we educators, sometimes within one course, we may have two groups, right? Two groups, group 1, group 2. And Guru Bahasas, you may have more than two groups. You may have 5 groups, you may have 6 groups. But in one single eLEAP page, you can actually handle the different groups compared to having to create eLEAP for every group, because some of the information like this one are common to all the groups. If you create one eLEAP page for each group, just imagine if you are teaching 6 groups, you have to keep doing this again and again. But you can, within one eLEAP page, create 2 and more groups. Now, Dr. Su asked me, how do I do that? I can demonstrate to you. If you already know, I don't have to. So I know Dr. Su needs to know this. How about the rest of you? Can you tell me, do you want me to demo to you how to create group?
It will be great, Dr. Soba.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to create group, yeah? So all you need to do is go to here in the left-hand corner, all right? After course section, you have participants. So click on participants. Okay, I'm going to show you separately so that, okay, so you will come here. Once you come here, you see on the right-hand top, you see this wheel. So click on the wheel and then you click on groups. So click on groups. So you can then create group. So click on create group. Let's say you want to call your group XXX 1, 2. I usually use group 1, group 2. So you can call it group 5, for example. All right. No need ID for the group. And then this one, no need. If you have the name, you can drop the names here. So you click and then you will have this group 5 here. So click on group 5, add remove users. So you can select, you will already have the student's name in here. So you have your student's name list for group 1, group 2. All you have to do is click and then add. So they will automatically go there. But please remember to include yourself also. If you don't include yourself, this is what I love about Karma. Cik Sharifah Norizan is very helpful. When I started using group, when I assign tasks for a particular group, I sometimes cannot see the instruction myself. And then I asked Sharifah Norizan, who is the head of the support system income, and then she said, Doctor, you need to add yourself in the group. Then only you can see, right? So that's done. So once you are done, you go back and you will see your group there, right? So the group is created. Ready? So you now have groups for you to handle. So as you go, I'm going to show you. Can you see? When you create a task, so you want this to be seen only by group 1 because your group 1 class may be on Monday. So you give them a task and you want them to respond to the task, but you don't want the group that you will meet on Thursday to see this yet. So what you need to do is when you set up, you need to go to restrict access and then you select the group that you want to be able to view this. So if you say group 1, if you say group 5 that I just created just now, you just click on group 5. So only group 5 can view that task. Are you okay? Got it? Kizra? Are you okay, Kizra?
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
So you can see now restricted unless you belong to group 1. So this is how you do it. So group 2 students cannot view these tasks and the responses for these tasks. They can't. Yeah. And after that, you can use the same thing you want to now create for group 2. You don't have to do it all over again, you know. All you need to do is duplicate. So when you duplicate, you get the second one, right? It's the same thing, but you can change certain things. You need to now change the access to group 2, right? And then you may want to change the URL, which I'm combining with OneDrive. So you need to include that URL. So within the same frame, you have now created tasks for group 1, group 2, and group 2 cannot see group 1s, group 1s cannot see group 2. All right. Now, the other thing is once the tasks are done, you want both groups to see each other's responses. No problem. All you need to do is click on this again, and then you can remove the grouping access. So the moment you go here, you click any group, then both groups will be able to view each other's responses. So now all the group members, all the students not only learn from the responses given by their class members, but they can also view the responses and learn from the responses given by students in the other group. So that's what I want to share with you about grouping. Are you okay? Any questions related to grouping?
So, can they enroll in the group themselves?
Can they enroll themselves? I've not tried that before, you know. But it's very easy to do it because you have a list of students given for each group, right? So you can upload. You don't have to select them one by one. You can upload. Remember the link I showed just now? So you can upload the list. So automatically they will be selected into that group. Yeah? Isra? Hello? Yeah. And if you have more details that you would like to know, Sharifa Norizan, Miss Sharifa Norizan is the best person to contact. The moment you contact her, immediately she will guide you personally. And also, if she doesn't have an answer, sometimes our requirements are very, very specific. So what she will say is, please give me some time. I will come back to you. I have experienced that. I wanted to do something. And then she said, I don't think we have, but I'll see what's the closest function you can do this with. And then she will try out and then come back to me and demonstrate to me how I can use this for a particular purpose. So please communicate with Cik Sharifa Norizan if you have little details which are very, very specific for your requirement. Yeah. So this is how you create grouping. So please don't waste time creating 6 eLEAP pages for the same course that you are teaching. But within one eLEAP page, you can manage all the other groups without much difficulties. Yeah? Okay. The next thing that I do is whenever I go on synchronous session with students, I record my synchronous sessions. Yeah. And after you record your synchronous session, like today I'm recording, I will be sent an email to my UNIMAS email, and then it comes with the link for my recording and the password. Now, if you were to download the recording and then upload it into eLEAP for your students to view, it is going to be time consuming. One, to download and then to upload as well, right? But what you can do very easily, share the link with your students. But when you share the link, remember student need the password. So normally there's a tendency to put the password in the box here. But I and my students find it very easy if the password is included in the title itself. So this is one of the biggest benefit or advantage of online learning or fully virtual learning, where you can record and share your recording with your student for both the classes. So there are some questions that the second class may have asked that the first class didn't ask, but those enthusiastic learners may want to view both recordings. And the password is here already. So they click, they can easily copy the password here, right? Which is already given in the title. They don't have to search for it. It's already given. So copy, right? And they just click on this, it will take them to the recording and they just have to paste the password here. Once they paste the password here, I'm going to do it here. So it will take them to the recording, right? And they can immediately watch the recording. So yes. So you can see how it is made easy, not only for us, the educators, but also made easy for the students. Yeah. And again, I would like to highlight here, if you see this week's task, I'm using label, right? So group 1, they don't have to worry about this. They just go this week's task, group 1, I'm using label. And then this is one document that is uploaded. Yeah. And then here you can see that I've linked it to OneDrive. Okay. So the moment they click, it goes to OneDrive. So you don't have to keep searching for it. Or if you may share the link in WhatsApp and all that, but at the end of the day, it's very important to make it one-stop center, make it available. If other students who miss the class ask you, you can say, go to frame for week 5 and it's there. Or you can just click and provide and copy the link for them and provide it in WhatsApp. Yeah, in the WhatsApp group. Okay. So I've talked about recording synchronous session and how you can share that recording with the password included in the title. Very petty, small thing, but it makes a lot of difference for students, right? Okay, I've shown you how to create label just now. All right, deadline for assignments. Again, just like the password given for recording, deadline for assignments are also made easy for students. Let me see, where is the week 1? Deadline for tasks and assignment, week 4. Okay, week 4. I need to show you week 4. Okay, so can you see? This is the assessment 1. And the deadline, I'm providing it, the deadline, I usually have 11:50 p.m. as the cutoff time for the deadline, right? So this is the date, this is the time. And you can see it's provided within the title, right? So that students are very clear. They don't have to click and then go and see when is the deadline, when is the time. Providing the deadline and time for the deadline makes it easy for students to be alert and helps them to submit the tasks and assessments online. And this is what the students tell me, not I'm telling. The students tell me they find this very, very useful, right? Okay. So the other thing that I do is actually linking the task to, okay, this is a submission. I wanted to show you, and you can see that I create a separate frame. Every time student have to submit an assessment, I make it very clear. I use this logo. a different color for assessment 1, different color for assessment 2, but this is my standard one that I use, submit. So I provide the time again here, right? And this is the submission link. And this is a follow-up activity that I do, ask them to provide feedback on the task and the rubric. I'll show you that in a moment, how I do that. But creating a separate frame for students to submit assessment makes it easy for them. They don't have to search back and forth, you know, where they are supposed to submit. So labeling plays a very important role. Submit assessment 1 rather than saying assessment 1, because assessment 1 has got task description with the rubrics and all, right? So the day that you provide the task description is probably in week 3. So one of the things that I do, and I find it beneficial, not just for me, but also the students, is to link this to OneDrive. Okay, why do I find this useful? Why do students find it useful? Okay, this is assessment 1. So but I've created a task and I'm giving 2 options for the students. So normally I list down what are the possible, like in this case, they are supposed to compare, provide a description of animal communication and then do second part of it. So I've listed what are the animals that they have, and then they can choose, giving them a choice. These are adult learners, giving them a choice is very important. So I've listed this. So I put the document here and the students can choose. And one of the questions that I got from the student is, one of the students said, "Doctor, we want to do snake, can or not?" All right. So then I can easily add other animals, please specify. Or I can always add a line. Okay, if I add a line, because it's coming, so I can add a line and then I can include their snake, for example. Then who wants to do snake can just list there, right? So what this enables me to do is, anytime there are questions from students, instead of uploading the task description in eLEAP, putting it in OneDrive helps you to edit, add information anytime. In case the deadline changes, you can also inform the students and make the changes here. Later, I'll show you. In the final assessment, student asked for extended deadline. So all I did was I changed this, because now I'm having student access, not editing access. Yeah. So I can just put here extended date, not having to upload again, revise my Microsoft Word in my thumb drive or in my computer and upload again. I can directly do it in OneDrive because it's linked to eLEAP. Yeah. So students mention their choices, what they want to do. And if any instruction is not clear, let's say they don't know how many resources should we include, they keep asking that question, then I can include that information in here easily, a minimum of 3 resources, for example. So this enables you to make changes when required. 1 or 2 students only may ask you that question, but that information is relevant for all the other students as well. So you can do the editing here easily. Are you okay so far? The benefit of linking eLEAP with OneDrive. Yeah? Are you all okay? Any questions so far? Okay. The next thing is that I want to show you is a feedback function. I love gathering feedback from students. I think we can learn a lot from students, and I'm able to become a better educator, and I owe it to my students because I listen to my students a lot. Some people say I pamper my students, but I think it's a mutually beneficial situation where my students not only learn from me, but I learn a lot from my students. So every now and then I will ask them simple feedback, nothing fantastic, nothing difficult. Like for example, I give them assessment 1. So I wanted their feedback on the task that I gave and the rubric. So I use feedback. Okay, instead of just providing link, I use the feedback function here. So if you go to add activity, under activity, there is feedback here. There you go, feedback, yeah? So if you click on this, you can create a feedback. So here it is. So I put in my question, simple question. Please share your experience working on assessment 1. Briefly explain your opinion about the task and the scoring rubric. And these are the questions, just 2 questions, right? The questions are there. Question 1. So I provide space, and question 2 and provide space. So I ask them about the rubric, I ask them about the task. So the students then provide responses, and you can see their responses easily for question 1 and question 2. And a lot you can learn. And if you don't want the students, because this was part of the class activity, that's why I asked them to provide their name, because I want to know who has done it and who has not done. But if I want anonymous feedback, when you are creating that feedback form, all you need to do is, I'm going to go to the sample here, which I've created to show you. You can say question submission, okay, anonymous, right? If you want the username, you click on username. If you don't want, you just say anonymous. So the students can freely respond. There are tasks that you want the students to freely respond and give you feedback without any fear. So you can do this. I find this helpful as well. If it is not part of the class activity, I will always ask for anonymous feedback only, right? When I want to check whether the students are doing the assigned task or not, then only I will ask for them to log in their names. Their names will be logged in, yeah? Okay, right. Okay, so feedback is one function which I find very, very useful. You can also gather feedback for class activity. And if your feedback is something that is a little bit complicated, you can use Google Drive. In addition to OneDrive, I also use Google Drive. I'm going to show you an example from my course, Sounds of English, yeah? Okay, so one of the, in Sounds of English, I share with them video resources. And I want to make sure they actually go and listen and practice with Monroe and Emma. So how do I make sure if I just give them the link, they may not go and listen and practice? So I created a task to ensure that they do it. And I create a response, although it's under feedback. Remember, it's under feedback, yeah? If you just provide link, then it will become a resource and you will not get the points like what Kuan Lin mentioned. Many of us may be doing a lot of things in eLEAP, but we may be clicking on resource all the time. That's why we are not getting full marks to get a Y for the overall eLEAP use. So you need to have at least a certain number of activities and certain number of resources in your eLEAP in order to achieve that blended learning requirement. So although this is a feedback and it is linked to Google Drive, see, I'm using the feedback function because the feedback function comes under activities and not resource. So you must do enough activities with your student to get full marks for a blended learning. Yeah. So please remember, although this is a link, but I am putting it under feedback. Yeah, because it is a feedback. So this is a little bit sophisticated. So in the feedback that I showed you just now how to create, I provided the link. There are no questions here. They just have to click on the link. So when they click on this link, they will go to the Google form that I have created. So they are supposed to listen. I've embedded the link to Monroe. So they have to listen to Monroe and then simple Likert scale question and comments on it. And then listen to Emma, practice with Emma, provide feedback on Emma's video. Yeah, your comments, right? So here it is for diphthongs and all that. And then they submit. Yeah. And you can view the responses and all once, because I'm in Gmail now, I have a separate mail just for this talk. So if I click on it, I can see the responses and all easily. So you can see, you can link your eLEAP with OneDrive. And if you want to do more sophisticated tasks with the students, you can create, you can use Google form and create your questionnaire, your form, all that, and link it, but use feedback. Don't put it under resource. Yeah, if you just click on URL, it will go under resource. So you can see here, under resource, if you just provide the link, it will go under resource URL. But if you use feedback, then it goes under activity. So you must fulfill both. Yeah? Okay. Right. So I have explained to you how to use feedback function. Okay, what else that I wanted to show you? I wanted to show you, you can also use Kahoot. I know many of you like to use Kahoot. So I've also used Kahoot. Let me see, where did I use Kahoot? Week 10. My example is at week 10. So week 10, I played a Kahoot game with my students. So you can see here. I played the quiz, but the link is provided here. I don't just share the link in the chat box and in the WhatsApp group, but I make sure it is available here. What is the benefit of putting it here? Sometimes after the quiz, one of your students might call you and say, Doctor, I couldn't finish the quiz just now because I had internet problem. It may be a valid reason, yeah? So you just have to ask a few questions to confirm that, and you can reactivate for that particular student. Yeah. And if because in this game you can set the timing, and if the student couldn't do or couldn't attend class because she had to go for vaccination or accompany somebody to the hospital, you have students who have different challenges. Yeah. So it's easy for you to duplicate this, and all you have to do, duplicate and make it accessible only to that particular student. Going to the setting and then choosing who you want to be able to access this. So you can choose who you want to, right? So that is another benefit of having all the links here, right? So yeah. And the marks is always there. And you know who are the students who were not able to do on that particular day, but had to do it at a later time. You can easily see, right? And here I've again asked students feedback. This time, I did not link it, no, I linked it to Google Form, right? So this is the Google Form that I've created, right? So students can submit, and then they can view the responses. So you can easily, as the creator, you can see the results, you know, group 1, group 2, and look at the responses given by the students. Easily. By just creating one form, you have so many responses. So student, one of the students said that, not one, a few have said that the time given for each question was not sufficient. because it took some time to load, because these courses, certain courses involve images and symbols. It may take some time. If you don't hear it from the students or obtain feedback from the students, you will never know what are their problems and how you can address those challenges that students are facing. So you may want to increase from 10 seconds to maybe 20 seconds or 25 seconds each question for the students to be able to respond. Yeah, so that's the benefit. Okay, the other thing that I want to share with you is how I use eLEAP to do peer feedback, not just giving me feedback, but for them to give feedback for one another. So just give me a moment. Let me go to week. Okay, all right. So you see, whenever we give assessments to students, and when they submit their assessment tasks that they have completed, and when you go through their assessment submissions, I always gain even more knowledge. Yeah, but the knowledge from so many students, compilation of information from so many students, is only beneficial to me because I'm the only one getting to see all the assignment submissions. So what I like to do is gather all the submission after the deadline and share the submission with all the students so that the other students also benefit from the other students' submission. So this is where I created a task where I compiled the students' assessment submissions. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Okay, I compiled and I said, look, I've created a link, refer to the task given for assessment 2. All the submissions for assessment 2 are available at this link in a single document. I provide everything, yeah? So I said, go and view the assignments assigned to you. So some students are, I just want to pass the course attitude. Some students are enthusiastic learners. So you want to make sure those who just want to, pass are also taken care of. Those who are enthusiastic learners are taken even further to excel. So for students who have done the submission, Aaron, for example, have done. So I've assigned one person to provide feedback for Aaron, right? But I also said that you are strongly encouraged to view other submissions not assigned to you, right? So they can view as many as possible. And I've created Google form for each one. So they can view and provide their feedback based on the submissions that they have gone through, right? So I find this really, really beneficial because the students learn from each other. And then after they have provided feedback, I take out information that will indicate who gave the feedback, and then I share it with the students who own, like this one, let's say I take, so you see here, students have provided feedback for this submission. Okay, so they can see the question, what have you learned? So one of the students have wrote, I've learned about behaviorism. I'm able to differentiate. The slides are good. It's easy to understand. So they are giving feedback from each other. But before they can do feedback, they also go through the submission. So they learn even more from the submissions by their friends. Yeah. So yeah. So you can see students providing feedback for each other, peer feedback. So they learn from each other, from viewing and also from the feedback provided. So all these can be done in eLEAP, but I combine it with OneDrive and then I'll provide the links all clearly organized. Okay, so the labeling is very important. Peer task for peer feedback, and then assessment 2, peer feedback, responses given by the peers. Yeah. Okay, right. You can also create, when it comes to serious quizzes, more serious quizzes, I use eLEAP itself to create the quiz. So you can see here, I have created a quiz using eLEAP itself. So eLEAP has a function that enables you to create quizzes, and immediately, if you want, normally not after every question they attempt, after they finish all the questions, they can get the feedback. Students can see which question they got wrong. You can even set the answers in there so that student can know which question they got wrong and why they got it wrong. I know many of you may be using this already. So this is another one that is popularly used by many, and you will find it very, very useful. And it comes under activities, and it is here, that quiz. So you can create MCQ question, short answer questions, and so on and so forth. Yeah. I have 1 minute. I'm actually almost done. Yeah. So by creating this, one of the advantages is you can hide it from students. You can prepare everything early, hide it from the student until it is time for them to take the quiz. And again, you can restrict it to group 1. So group 2 will not know what group 1 did. They will not know. You can have a mixture of questions, parallel questions. Group 2 will not be able to see what group 1 has done, because immediately after group 1 have done, you can close, and you can also make it only available for group 1. Yeah. And then after everybody finish, if you want to open up, you can open up for students to view each other. No problem. Okay, Lynn, exactly 1 hour and I'm done.
Thank you very much, Dr. Soba. Very good in timing, and I hope everyone has enjoyed it. I've learned a lot from you, although I am the eLEAP coordinator, but I have yet to learn a lot more from all of you. Okay, any questions for Dr. Soba? She
Yeah,
has
any
talked about,
questions?
yeah, she has talked about labeling, you know, how to use the labels, which I think is very important and also very useful for the students, and also for us to segment our, you know, our tasks or notes and so on. And also she has talked about recording, how we can share the recording with the students, and how to link, yeah, we link books, or you have e-books or any URLs that you can link with the students. And importantly, how we can integrate the OneDrive and also Google Drive, even Google Drive, into eLEAP, so that it's much easier for us to to communicate with our students. And one important thing that I really learned this morning is how to do the grouping. Dr. Su has the excuse as a new lecturer, but as for me, although I have used eLEAP, but I learned a lot from this session, how to do the grouping, because I was nervous already, since I will have 2 groups next semester. You know, usually I have 1 group, but this time I have 2 groups. All right. So any questions to Dr. Shoba?
If you have, and thank you, Ponlin, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I will try my best, and there are others here who will help me as well. I would like to give you one more tip, very, very important tip. When we are using eLEAP, we learn new strategies. We try out something new, we discover. When you get that kind of discoveries, the trick is to share it with your colleague, teach your colleague. Yeah, because when you don't use it, sometimes you become you forget, and you can't remember. Oh, I've done this before, but I can't remember how I did it, you know. So your colleague then can show you. And I've been very lucky because Dr. Joseph was around here. So whenever I find something new, I will go and tell him. And when he finds something new, he will come and tell me. And then when I forgot something, he will say, Sauba, you taught me this. And then he will show me. And then he sometimes forgets to do something, and then I say, hey Joe, you have taught me this, and I will show him. And I'm lucky to have Amar and Dr. Sue Mazrina and also Dr. Zaza here with me. So we can all share with each other. So please feel free to share the knowledge that you have gained. I think from teaching others, from sharing with others, it helps you to remember, and what all the good that you do will come back to you in various forms. Yeah, that's the last tip from me. Any questions? Please feel free to ask.
So far, no questions, no.
All right.
Practice
Okay.
will make perfect.
Yes, I think practicing is extremely important because but the thing is, you know, we do it over one semester and then there is a break. There is a tendency to forget, and you can't take note of every single step. So my suggestion to you is very, very important when you face any difficulties or you want to do something, but you don't know how to do it. Like when I want to do this peer, you know, when students submit their assignment, I want to group it all together after the submission date for everybody, all the students to be able to view it. I couldn't find a suitable function in eLEAP to do that. So I call up Miss Sharifah Norizan, and she worked out something for me. So I looked at the strategy that she suggested, and I then played with OneDrive how I can do it. So I did it. So you can see for that peer feedback, I actually combined eLEAP with OneDrive and also Google Drive. The feedback form is in Google Drive. The task description is in OneDrive, but everything is pulled together into eLEAP. So students find it easy. They don't know where they are, but everything is just clicking in eLEAP. It will help them to complete the complicated task. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Suba.
Most welcome, Rudy.
I think it sounds complicated, but actually if we try it, slowly, I think we can get it. Yeah. Maybe if I have to review this recording, I will learn slowly, and I think I can do it. And I hope the rest also can.
Yeah. And you can contact me anytime. I'm happy to assist. Yeah, we learn from each other. Like what Wan Lin shared at the very beginning. Together we can do great things. Bersama kita boleh buat banyak perkara yang jauh lebih baik untuk pelajar-pelajar kita.